Hello, and welcome to the Mary F. English Programs tutorial on the app Toontastic. Toontastic is free to download from the App Store, but it is essentially an iPad application that utilizes cartoon illustrations to teach students how to organize a story. It splits the story into different phases similar to that of a basic story plot. It offers over 50 backgrounds and 150 characters to choose from. Toontastic is an entertaining app children will enjoy and learn from at the same time. The story contains 5 phases, which Toontastic calls a story arc. The 5 phases of the story arc are setup, conflict, challenge, climax, and resolution. The first phase is the setup phase. This is where students will select the story setting that they would like to use for their Toontastic creation. The second phase is the conflict phase. The purpose of this phase is to help the students create a problem for their main character. In the challenge phase, the goal is to create a problem to be even harder for the main character. After that phase, you have finally reached the climax of the story. During the climax, the student will explain how their main character solved their problem. Finally, in the resolution phase, this is where the student will explain how the problem was resolved by the character. And then the story is finally complete. Although those are preset phases, you do not have to choose that specific order. Scenes can be moved up or deleted depending on how the user wants to set up their story. The story can only have up to 6 scenes. Together, the scenes form a story arc. The purpose of the story arc, again, is to help guide students through the key concepts of creating a story plot. Toontastic offers a variety of benefits to children and students. The most noticeable feature is that it teaches them the basic structures of a story. This will help them when they are creating their own stories outside of the app as well. The app also sparks creativity for elementary school children. Its basic concept allows students to have a choice, yet it is still structured in that they must follow the steps in order to create one scene. It can also potentially be used to develop communication and collaboration skills in the classroom. Here are some examples of how Toontastic can be used in the classroom. One example is to simply use the program as it was intended, and that have the students create their own stories and have them present them in front of the class. Another possible idea is to have them tell a story based off a recent book that they have read. In order to do that example, you will need to explain to them that it must fit in one of the themes that is available on Toontastic. Another option would be to have them create a story based off a lesson learned in class. For instance, if you went over the Declaration of Independence, you could have them create their own interpretation of the event. The main problem with that might be that all of the students will have similar stories due to the limited amount of characters and settings available for a particular event. Toontastic, as I have mentioned before, could be used to help develop teamwork skills by having students collaborate with classmates to build a story. Toontastic is a great app for elementary school children to help develop their communication skills. In this tutorial, I will show you how to create a completed scene in Toontastic. I will go over how to add settings, toys, animation, and music to a scene. The one thing that you'll need to remember is that each scene is independent of each other, so the process will have to be repeated in order to complete a story. After downloading the Toontastic app and clicking on the Create button, this will be the first screen that appears. This is the creation screen, and it will display all the cartoons that you've created in Toontastic. So in order to get started, we're going to need to click on the Create a New Cartoon in order to start our story. Here is the basic story arc that everyone starts off with. In order to edit a scene, you'll need to click on the Paintbrush button. The first step is that you will select the settings for a particular scene. I've already selected the settings for this scene, but you can go through and have fun exploring other options. When you are done, click on the right arrow and it will take you to the toy screen. The next step is to add the toys to your setting. Select the characters or equipment you would like to use in your particular scene. Once you have selected the toys you would like to use, click on the right arrow and it will take you to the next step. This next step is the animation step. The one thing you'll need to do is to move your characters in the right place that you would like them before you actually click on the start button. Once you select the start button, you can move your characters around the scene. Well, the one thing you need to keep in mind is that it records every movement. This means that if you do not like a particular movement, you will have to start all over in terms of that animation. When you are finished, click the stop button and then the left arrow to take you to the next screen. The last step will be to select the musical theme for the particular scene. Although they only provide you with 6 options, they change from scene to scene. When you are finished, click on the right arrow button. You will go through each phase of the story arc and go through the following steps until you are done with your Toontastic creation. When you are finished, you will select the Done button on the upper right hand side of the screen. The final step is to name your movie and put who it's directed by. And now you've created your own Toontastic creation. That is all for the tutorial on Toontastic. Thank you for watching.